MMA needs. If you want to find predictions, news, and everything that deals with MMA, shout outs to Kyrie, Abu El-Kheer MMA, Sacramento, California, represent.
That's right, Kyrie. I appreciate you, my nigga. You came in here, you was talking that shit. That's right, bro. Much love, Flo. I appreciate you for always stepping in, bro. Be safe out there.
All right. So there we are.
Man, my nigga Kyrie, my man Kyrie came through. He started talking that shit. Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing. That nigga will whoop your fucking ass. You will think that nigga's all squared up and all that type of shit. Nigga come through and beat your fucking ass. Like, man, fuck you up. You will never see it coming.
We are those about 2 minutes away now into this live stream. So first, let me play you guys this news clip to kind of give context into what's going on with Big U. Okay, now obviously this is what I like to do just right before a big fight stream starts. I like to talk. We are about 2 minutes away now into this live stream. So first, let me play you guys this news clip to kind of give context into what's going on with Big U. Okay, now obviously this is what I like to do just right before a big fight stream starts. I like to talk about all the different crimes that are going on in in the world of California and whatnot. Well, hold on, let me finish this real quick. Oh no, okay, never mind. Hold on. Just wanted to show the last of that video. KTLA news. Okay, so let's check out what's going on with Big U in the news. Okay, so this was 2 days ago. Let me see if we can find just a bit of a look at this. So, okay, this is what this man is accused of.
Breaking news, federal authorities are bringing new charges against a longtime leader of the infamous Crips gang and self-styled music producer known as Big U. At a news conference this morning, the U.S. Attorney's Office announcing charges against Eugene Henley Jr. Authorities say Henley is responsible for murder, drug, and human trafficking, also extortion, and even COVID fraud. He's facing federal racketeering.
Okay, so that's crazy. We're talking about COVID fraud right here, right? Those are some of the things that this man is being accused of. And look at these celebrities that he is involved with when it comes to these RICO charges. By the way, one of them is boxer Adrian Broner. Okay, and this is also talking about Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal had to move out of LA because of this guy. Now, obviously, there was a trade going on and this and that, if you know anything about basketball and the trajectory of, of his career. But yeah, nonetheless, here we are.
Conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say Henley masquerades as a legitimate businessman and reformed gang.
Now, look, how many people do you know that are like that, right? Pastors, religious clerics of different kinds, right? I mean, I've seen imams do that. I've seen pastors do that. I've definitely seen rabbis do that. Let's not even go there. But yeah. But a gang leader, I mean, kind of makes sense, right? And look, here he is right here. I didn't even know that he did an episode with Mike Tyson in his podcast. That's interesting. Okay, so nonetheless,
member often appearing on podcasts and media.
And look, one of the people that were involved, look at this. Tremaine Williams, also known as Loose Cannon, obviously a guy that's big in the social media space. Zahir Mitchell, also known as Brick Baby, a No Jumper employee, does a lot of shows and podcasts with Adam 22 and No Jumper. So yeah, and then a whole bunch of names here that nobody really knows about, right? And usually that's the reality of the gangster world. I mean, you're going to have a few guys that are known in that world, in the podcasting, in the rapping space, maybe even in the world of athletics. But there are guys behind the scenes that are not public figures, that are not media people of any kind. And this is the reality of their life and the reality of these situations, right? There's just guys that are, behind the scenes, not really all up in the videos, dancing, yapping, all of that. But yeah,
media outlets, but it's a front for a wide-ranging criminal enterprise.
He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat.
10 of Henley's associates were arrested this morning, but he remains a fugitive. Henley's son, Dayon, plays linebacker for our LA Chargers. He has not commented on these charges.
New details this afternoon about the man accused of being a longtime leader of the Rolling 60s Crips gang. Eugene Henley Jr. has become known in recent years for his charity work to reduce gang violence. Now the FBI is accusing him of running a criminal enterprise that committed a series of crimes, including a murder back in 2021. NBC4's Alex Rozier live with details you see for the first time and only on 4. Alex.
Michael, Big U is in federal custody right now. Prosecutors say they have probable cause to believe that he killed a man in Las Vegas in 2021, then dragged his body into the desert. Today, I learned the man killed is closely connected to Big U's family.
When did you ever really?
Okay, now that right there is that is absolutely crazy work right there. Now this man is somehow connected to his family in some kind of way. You also got to remember, right? He was the manager of Nipsey Hussle when he was alive, and well, there's a lot of speculation surrounding the demise of Big U, and it's sort of hinting towards his direction. So, by the way, shout outs to LA, right? Wearing this shirt today to sort of give a little tribute to this reaction that we are doing right now. So. All right, here we go.
Really learn how to play the drum.
Eugene Henley Jr.'s podcast, seen here on YouTube, is one of many ways he made his name.
It's season 2 of checking in.
Henley Jr., known as Big U, interviewed celebrities.
The big homie. Yes, sir.
And he's run a charity and music label. But the feds say he's also a longtime leader of the Rolling 60s Crips street gang. And now he's in custody for racketeering crimes that include the murder of rapper Rayshawn Williams.
Yeah, you know, I've never heard of this guy at all or his music or anything like that. And a lot of people are sort of asking the question, right? Like, why are you going to go and slide on a guy that really is not known but made a diss record about you? Well, I tell you what. If you guys remember anything about that little incident that I had with Leon, obviously Leon is not exactly the most well-known guy in the world of YouTube. He's pretty known in our city of Sacramento, and as a result of that, well, you're going to stand on business. You're going to do what you're going to do. But again, just remember, a lot of this is all alleged, and in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. So.
Court papers say Williams, seen here on Instagram, was an artist for Big U's label Unique Music. And in 2021, prosecutors say Williams wrote a song, quote, dissing Big U. Documents say Big U then kidnapped and murdered Williams in Las Vegas in retaliation for perceived disrespect. But before Williams was a rapper, he was a wide receiver for Crenshaw High School. The day after he was killed.
And once again, this is one of the things that Big U is really good at, right? He facilitates a lot of these aspiring young athletes. And you know what? He's helped bring a lot of people into the NFL, including his son, who I believe right now is an LA Charger right now. So that's, I mean, look, that's an accomplishment in and of itself, right? You know, bringing up your son to be a football player at the pro level, at the highest level at that in the NFL, and also coming from the background that he came from. I mean, it's impressive. But sometimes, you know what? You can't let go of that life for one reason or another. And I know a lot of people will say, well, why don't you just give it up? Because, you know, you're already in his life and you're already making money. You're already in a different career trajectory. Why do you need to get into this? Well, look, human beings are extremely complicated in terms of the psychological matters at hand. And with that, you got to understand they're going to have different reasons why they choose to do what they do. But again, always keep in mind, all of this is just all alleged.
Killed, the football program, announced his death in this post on Instagram, saying in part, quote, "He was a special guy to all of us." And not only did he play for Crenshaw, the wide receiver was teammates with Big U's son, Deion Henley. This LA.
There it is, Deion Henley, as you guys know, or I don't know. I think he has another son that's in the NFL, or yeah, I don't know, man. I don't keep up with Big U's kids, but nonetheless.
Times video shows Henley throwing a pass to Williams. Deion Henley is now a linebacker for the LA Chargers.
Okay, so this is the kid that I was referring to. All right.
In 2023, the Times wrote a story about him with the headline, "Conceived in prison, Deion Henley was born into the dangerous world of his dad, who put him on a path to the NFL." Deion's.
Now, you see that part right there. I mean, you can't deny the positivity of that reality, right? But yeah.
Quoted in the article saying, "It's one heck of an origin story," adding, "You know how they talk about anti-heroes, the people who are the bad guys, but they really aren't? That's my dad." But now his dad, Big U, is back in custody. And the feds say,
you know what? Let's go back to that line, what he just said right there, right? Let's rewind back and take a look at what he just said right there. It's one heck of an origin story, Deion said. You know how they talk about anti-heroes, the people who are the bad guys, but really aren't. That's my dad. All right, so here's a little context that I want to tell you, right? Growing up in New Jersey, let me just say this. I knew some Italians in New Jersey. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's significant. Because if you know anything about Italians, you know exactly what it is that they get into and what it is that they do. So a couple of these Italian kids that I know, I talk to them about who I know in the West Coast, who I'm friends with, and the people that are around me and things of that nature. Okay, so this is what they say in regards to that, right? They say, "Oh man, you need to be careful." Well, what exactly do you mean be careful? Because they're of a minority origin, that somehow they're more dangerous than the Italians that are in your family? You catch my drift, right? But that's something that I just wanted to kind of add in there to put some things into context.
But now his dad, Big U, is back in custody. And the feds say he's connected to a number of crimes, including the murder of his son's high school teammate, Rayshawn Williams.
All right. Well, I want to react to this video right here. I've reacted to this guy's video in the past, Dubs. And not only that, he's a guy that also supports my channel. He also shouts me out. He made a good video regarding this particular topic, and he talks about how Big U, it really is the real Suge Knight. And here's a little synopsis on this situation, right? Big U used to run with Suge Knight back in the 90s during his death row days. That's where he met Wack 100. That's where him and Wack 100 started becoming friends and started networking. And as you know, obviously, Suge Knight comes from the Pyru Blood Mob set, right? And Death Row Records, I mean, they were a gang of a record label that had a whole wide range of different factions within that record label. They had Bloods, Crips, and even within the reports of Eminem and 50 Cent being confronted by a bunch of essays via Suge Knight. But who really is the real Suge Knight and the real boogeyman of LA? My man right here is going to talk about it. Here we go.
Everybody, welcome back to the channel. New video. Well, it's another day. It's a new day. And it's some new Big U stories. I have a feeling this Big U thing is going to last a while. There's going to be a lot of content creators, a lot of new platforms will probably even form because of this.
You're right. And you know what? I mean, obviously, I've been doing gang content on top of MMA on this channel. I'm going to be no different than that. Let's go.
Especially out of the Los Angeles area. I want to say something. I have some stuff written down right here that I'm going to talk about that's already been posted. And so the first one is that, so now, you see the thumbnail. and I'm asking a question. I didn't put the question mark on there, but I'm asking the question. So is Big U now the new Suge Knight, the boogeyman of the West Coast? I remember a few years back.
Well, to be honest with you, I think he always has been. The only difference is that he didn't have the backing of a conglomerate media company like Universal and Interscope and the owned Death Row record label of Suge Knight. He didn't have any of that behind him. That's the only difference. Sometimes there's some guys out there that are more dangerous than others. They just don't have the media backing to sort of give them that push as to being the real boogeyman. Just like in real fighting, just like in the world of fighting sports, there's a lot of guys out there that are quiet, that are not as exuberantly enthusiastic or flamboyant in the way that they go about things. But either way, it doesn't make them any less dangerous. And sometimes, you know, the old saying and the cliche goes, it's always the quiet guys that are the ones that you got to watch out for.
When Big U was saying, and other people around him were saying, and it was on social media, that had Big U not gotten incarcerated when he did, there would have never been a death row. That it would have been Big U doing all that. And I have to say this, prior to Big U's incarceration, he didn't do what Suge Knight did. I don't know. I'm sure he had the power. He had the manpower, because back then, facts.
Yeah, he definitely did. Even though the Rolling 60s Crips are known to have a divided faction amongst their group, meaning that there's a lot of internal fighting going on, they're a big organization. They are a big gang. The street that they encompass, I mean, it literally borderlines Compton all the way to Culver or Century City or whatnot, right, in the LA area. But yeah, he definitely had the manpower for sure. Probably more so than the Mob Piru Bloods, which is who Suge Knight was affiliated with.
As far as black gangs, LA County was Crip, Blue. There was very few Bloods, down as fuck. The ones there were down as hell. But LA was as far as black gangs, the Crips had it pretty much dominated, right? So Big U would have had the manpower. He would have had enough people to do what he wants, but he didn't put the plan in motion. See, it's easy to say after the fact, yeah, I could have did what he did, but you didn't do it before he did it because you didn't have that vision. And Big U sat in prison and saw what Suge Knight was doing, and he knew, and it was a fact. Man, I have more homies. I could have had do this, and I could have had do that, and I could have locked this down, and I could have locked that down, but you didn't have the idea. You didn't have the vision. Now, Big U gets out. He gets out of prison, and he gets involved in whatever he gets involved in, whether it's legal, illegal. It's not really. I'm not gonna get into all that. I'll let these other platforms get into all that. I'll discuss certain things as they unfold, and I'll do it from my perspective, the way that I do it. Each content creator puts out the content how they see fit and what they're with in a way that they're comfortable with. I definitely do. Okay. So I was sent something yesterday, and it said that Big U was just extorting everybody. He was just the extortionist.
But you know what? Who doesn't do that in the LA gang culture, right? I gotta tell you, this is part of their economy. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe he goes into it, or we've already kind of got into it about Shaq, Draymond Green, and Adrian Broner.
Says Big U attempted to extort Adrian Broner because Adrian Broner hit some guys for over 1.5.
There you go. By the way, this is my first time seeing this, so I didn't even know he was going to say this. This is fresh reaction, by the way, and there's a good reason why I wanted to save watching this for when I went live, and here we are.
$5 million in a dice game or in dice games. Who's walking around with that kind of cash where he can just hit you that for that much And
I mean, listen, Adrian Broner is that type of guy. He does carry around a lot of cash because he's a reckless person, and that's just what he does. He's also a very flashy person, but you got to understand, man, if you're a very flashy guy and you're not an LA guy and you're an out-of-towner and you come in there and you do that, you're going to become a target for a lot of these guys, in particular the gangs in that area.
Walk away. That seems pretty far-fetched to me, but it's out there. And I would assume it's probably part of the indictment, okay? And it also says Big U wanted to tax NBA players $100,000 a pop to check in and get protection.
Yeah, no problem. They can afford it. But the only difference is that, are they going to give it up? Look, basketball players, I'm sorry to say, I mean, there's a lot of basketball players out there that are tough guys. Obviously, Kobe Bryant trained Muay Thai, MMA, all types of stuff. Shaq, the same thing. But come on, man. You know, these guys are not about that life. If they get pressed by the wrong guy, they're going to cave right in, especially with a guy like Big U, who was known as the Debo. And by the way, how about this? They say that the Debo character was based on Big U.
In LA. Again, I assume this is part of the indictment. I hope that more content creators will be more responsible. I don't know how many of these guys that are pushing this content have actually been indicted. I was here with a grand jury indictment. I know for a fact, from personal experience, mainstream media is absolutely no different than the National Enquirer. They will throw stuff in there like, ah.
That's facts. That is facts. And you also got to remember, the media that we have today is predicated on clicks, views, and the advertisements that you get out of that. So you have to sensationalize certain things.
Just get them to buy the damn thing. Just get them to read the damn thing. Just get them to open this up. Just get them to click. And so they'll make.
Guess what? YouTube is no different. You think that I don't do the same thing when I'm on here? There's a reason why I title certain titles, because I'm trying to garner your attention. Now, if I'm not garnering your attention, then what am I doing here on YouTube in the first place? And that's really just the name of the game. But when I do get your attention, I am going to give you the utmost integrity in the facts that I'm trying to bring about. So
the story more sensational than it really is. The feds want to paint a picture of Big U that is more favorable to their case. Again, you know, there's a lot of lames on YouTube that talk about my case. Talk about I killed an innocent man and this and that. The dude was from my neighborhood. The guy that I killed was from my neighborhood. My barrio. Just claimed a different clique that was no longer really doing anything. Came to us 3 times with friends, a whole carload of them. The third time they came on foot with weapons. But see, the DA didn't fit the DA.
For those of you that don't know, this is one of the things that this man is famous for. And the reason why he has such a huge following on YouTube is because he's actually went to the ultimate, if you know what I mean. And the fact that he went to the ultimate, he spent time, like literally 2 decades in prison, if not more, for what he did. But he got released based on new laws that have came about in California that sort of releases certain inmates. And well, lo and behold, he got parole, and here we are. And now you are in the dub show because of that. Yeah, he's now a famous YouTuber as a result of that. And shout out to him. This is a guy who, by the way, supports my channel. He's also a fan of MMA. He's done content with Jesse on Fire. Jesse on Fire has given me some shout outs before. He's given me some super chats right here on this channel. If you want to check it out, it's on the D Devlin live stream video that I did during Thanksgiving. If you want to check it out during November, but that's neither here or there.
DA's case to put all that in there, but it was brought up. And a lot of these lames that hate on me, no, they like the cops version and the DA's version. And so for the content creators that are going to be presenting stuff regarding this Big U indictment, this indictment of these individuals from 60s, and who knows if they got other dudes from the, neighborhood Crips, whatever. Please be responsible and say this is what the feds are claiming, because Big U's attorney is going to say something opposite. I find it strange, because I have been involved in a lot of very serious stuff in life, to where when you get something put on the table, you better pick that thing up, look at it from every damn angle possible, listen to anything that can be attributed to this thing that's on the table before you.
In other words, journalism integrity.
And then make a decision, right? And you better be right in it. So we have the feds saying that Big U is the leader of the Crips. The Crips don't have a leader. The Crips have never had a leader. Ever. Tookie, rest in peace, was not the leader of the Crips. That's what the cops wanted you to think. One of the founders, a founder is different than a leader. Raymond Washington, he was not the leader of the Crips. A founder is different than a leader. The Crips do not have a leader. The 60s don't have a leader. But you see how the case is not as strong if Big U is not the leader. And then we have Wack 100 went off the other day. It's on the internet, and all I'm saying is listen to what's being said. The people that hate you, really pay attention. Wack 100 said that Big U no longer had foot soldiers, that Big U no longer had muscle, that Big U no longer had anyone willing to crash out for him, so he was utilizing squares. Well, damn. Wack 100 is saying,
so in other words, what he's saying is, let's be honest about this, right? When it comes to minorities, they are the biggest people when it comes to downplaying their enemy. Okay, like, oh, well, this guy is BICTH, oh, he's weak, or this and that, oh, he ain't a real one, or, I'm sorry, but this is just how minorities get down with their enemies, right? They never respect their enemies. They never acknowledge how dangerous they can be. But sometimes you gotta speak facts to what is real.
In other words, Big U wasn't a leader. Pay attention. Listen to what's being said and what isn't being said. Put it together. Big U didn't have a bunch of Crips behind him then. According to Wack 100, Wack 100 is the streets, according to Wack 100. Wack 100 has the tapes. Wack 100's ear is to every single street, alleyway, dope spot, trap house, whatever it is. Wack 100's ear is right there. He's got people letting him know what's going on here, there, everywhere. And Wack 100 said Big U no longer had soldiers. Well, shit. Hopefully Big U's attorney is going to call Wack 100 to the stand and repeat that.
That's wild. That's wild right there. Those are some wild comments.
That's very helpful. And then the flip side of what Wack had to say, you had this dude 600 wearing badges. He's trolling, of course. But he's the only content creator right now that is, his eyes light up. His face lights up. He gets the biggest smiles on his face that we've seen since he's been on YouTube when he's talking about the incarceration of Big U. That says a lot. Big U did something to that individual's brain and heart. For that man, that individual, to be that happy that the cops took that black man down. I remember after the riot happened in Pelican Bay in 2000, there was an OG black dude.
It's about to start.
I used to talk to the dude a lot prior to the riot, man.
Soon.
I like the dude. He got hit in the riot. He got hit really bad. I was glad to see him make it through, come back to our unit. And I remember he came back to the unit. He had gone to the outside hospital, and he came back to the unit, I want to say about a week and a half after the riot. They put him back in the same cell, and he came back, and he had a tube sticking out of his chest because his lungs had been collapsed. I was upstairs. My cell was next to the shower. As he went past my cell, he looked at me. He was like, because on the other side of the shower was an OG black by the name of Prince. Prince had been down about 42 years already. I believe Prince was from Louisiana somewhere. So this OG, who happened to be like in his 50s, I'll say his name. His name was Bakari. Bakari gave me a head nod, and he slid a kite under my door. In the kite, Bakari said, a lot of these youngsters ran and left me. And he said, I'll be damned if I run. I'd rather die on my feet.
So, okay, we got about 6 minutes left on that video. If you want to see the rest of that, I'm going to put it up on my timestamp. Or you can watch it later when I do actually clip this whole entire scene. And yeah, we'll watch it on a separate video. But for now, we are about to watch UFC London live right now. So for those that are watching in the future that are clipping this particular video, check out my live stream for UFC London, which is starting right now. I will see you guys in a minute, and I'm going to leave it off with this. Never underestimate your enemies, especially to people that are within the minority community. This is the overall theme that is going on. You see, one of Big U's biggest enemies, Wack 100, made it seem like this guy was weak. He was not dangerous, somebody that was a pushover. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You see, everything that the feds are saying about Big U makes this guy an absolutely scary human being to deal with. So I want you to keep that in mind. We are now about to start UFC London live stream. I will see you guys in the future. I will see you guys right now. Everybody in the chat, stay. We are ready now for UFC London, and I will see you guys right now.
Neutral. Starting off the list of good. Oh, this actually, he's gonna go into neutral too, because this guy's fucking, he's wild as shit sometimes, but he's a fucking, I'm telling you, Kari El-Kheer, he's wild as shit. He's going into neutral for different reasons. He's fucking wild, but he's the type of guy that you would want on your side. I feel like this guy just has an immense fucking loyalty about him. He's a good fucking dude. He is loyalty over royalty, defined to the fucking max. Now we start off the good cat. Yeah, I like Kari El-Kheer. Fucking so what?